Okay, so welcome to the Jelly's Place event. And we are going to get started doing the readings. Okay. So let's see, is there anything else we need to share? I think we're ready to go, right, guys? All right. So Shay and I are going to start as a team. And I have been really drawn to, and I'm sorry if I say your name wrong. Is it Tao or Thao? Tao? Can you, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Yes, my name's Tao. It's
Tao.
just,
Okay.
yeah, like wow, but Tao.
I love it. Wow.
Yes.
Tao. Would you like a reading, Tao?
Oh, absolutely.
Ah, that's wonderful. Okay. So, Tao, what we actually need from you is the name of your animal, their species, their gender, and if they're alive or in spirit to start.
Um, well, I run an animal sanctuary myself, so I'm very interested in meeting all of you. Maybe that's why you're drawn to me. But we have lots of lives and lots of losses, as always here. How about Henry, golden
Henry,
retriever, male and in spirit?
dog, male, in spirit. Okay. And Tao, while we're at it, and now that we have Henry's information, what's the question that you really want to ask him?
Is he going to come back?
Is he going to come back?
Yes. We've had animals come back and, as another dog or I just feel like he was our token golden retriever, and I feel like I can't live without another golden retriever.
Well, so that's a different question than so if I ask, hey Henry, are you coming back? I'm going to get yes or no.
Okay.
It's going to be a really short
Um,
reading. So, is there anything else you want him to like talk to you about that we can ask him?
um,
Like, what do we need
what
to
was
know about something?
what was his favorite part of living with us?
Okay. So we would love to ask him, Henry, why don't you share what you loved? What do we need to know about what you loved about living with Tao?
Yeah, his favorite maybe memory of living with us.
Okay. The things that, well, I'm going to open it up to whatever brought him joy because it may not be
Yeah.
what you think.
Okay.
Okay. Does
Yeah.
that sound good to you, Shay?
Yeah.
And he knows that you want to know if he's coming back. If he wants to give you that answer, he will also do that.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's just take a breath and get connected into Henry. Okay. He says to me, you can call me King Henry. And I see a crown on top of his head. He shows up
Okay.
with a crown. He's like, you can call me King Henry. Just like that. And I definitely feel like all this exuberance in my chest when I connect with him.
Mhm.
Yeah, to me, almost he has a like a bear's face. Like he has a very like a deep voice comes through and just like this teddy bear, this strong presence. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. Uh-huh. Yes. Thank you.
He also shows me himself being very warm and friendly. The energy I get is a very warm and friendly energy, and that he um, loved being in the middle of things. He
Yes.
loved every all the things that were around him, and he loved being in the middle of everything because he was able to. He's telling me he was kind of like a connector, an energetic connector between people and animals, and he really loved that role. Does that make sense to you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's presenting himself in this like youthful, joyful nature. Um, Kind of always on the go, exploring. The image he's giving me is like by a body of water, um, just loving the outdoors is the impression that he gives me. Is that making sense to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Henry, what else do you want to share about about yourself and your life? It's really interesting, Tao. He just made me feel like he was very much aware of other people's emotions and that
Mm,
he knew when somebody was not having a good day, and he would be extra gentle with them or extra friendly with them, or just kind of make them feel seen. He felt like humans walk, he's so funny. He's saying humans walk around heavy, and I didn't
mhm.
want them to feel bad.
Yeah.
Does this make sense to you about him, Tao?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So boy, he's talking about a lot of things that he liked doing in his life, actually.
I just, we have over 130 animals, and when they leave, it's like, ah, did I spend enough time with them? Like,
Mhm.
I just always consider like, oh, could have done more for them. But I mean, it's always that little guilt, you have like,
Yeah.
because you have so many and so much
Mhm.
going on. And,
Yeah.
and I always just wanted to make sure that he loved living here. So,
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of joy in how this comes across.
Mhm.
He's fixated, for me at least, on like little creatures. Like he's getting nice and low to like really attentively watch what's going on. And he really did love like the variety, but he's having me look at a turtle, if that makes sense to you. He's like fixated on the small little turtle.
oh, okay. We have two tortoises. So, yeah.
Love them.
Um, and he really wants, I get the energy from him. He really wants to reassure you that he felt very important, that his job to him was very important. It wasn't about you taking care of him and babying him or making sure he was okay. He felt like he was very much a part of the flow of things in the
Mhm.
work. And for him, it was about feeling valued
Right.
as opposed to you taking, giving him extra time and babying him and taking care of him.
Mhm.
He felt like he was an important member, like team member. And for him,
Mhm.
that's what was important. So he's very proud of what he accomplished in his life, and he doesn't want you to feel like you didn't give him enough time because he feels like he had a great job and that he did a great job.
Yeah. He was one of our pet therapy dogs. So he
Oh,
went out quite a bit. Yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah.
Everyone loved Henry. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's really beautiful soul.
Yeah.
And let me see, is there anything else, Henry, you feel is important for us to share?
He's giving me this impression, no matter how far he roamed, he just like knew where you were at all times. Like he keeps turning his head back and he's like, oh, I'm going to go right back. But he's just like, he wants me to say that he was here to like really enjoy life. So I wouldn't worry about whether he enjoyed it or not because he got to
Yeah.
see so much.
Mhm.
Mhm. Okay.
And he
Thank you.
does, and right now what he wants you to know is I've left the house. I've left my house, my body house, but I haven't left the building. So he's still watching over and enjoying like being in the middle of all the energy and trying to help still hold the space to keep it joyful. So as far as his coming back, I'm not sure if he is actually physically going to reincarnate at this moment because he says I'm still hanging out. I still haven't left the building. I'm still enjoying being a
Mhm.
part of the energy of the place.
Mhm. Got it. Yeah. My mom, after he passed, she saw a bright yellow light, and she started crying, and she just was like, that's him. And he loved donuts, and we fed him donuts right up till the end. And later the next day, me and my friend, and we are in a farm, we have all the kinds of smells, and I guarantee you nothing smells like donuts here. And we both were like, oh my God, we both smell sugar donuts at the same time. And we were like, that was Henry. And so it was just,
Oh,
and I've never had, and then I felt the dog tap my leg later in the day, and I turned around, and we were at a farmer's market, and their local dog tapped me, and then I turned around thinking it was the dog again, and there was no dog around. So I think there's three. I've never had a dog three times in three different instances within one day of passing tell
wow.
me he's around. So that's why, like, he's,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful validation. And I love that he's saying that to you even now.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I always say to people, keep your heart and mind open to the concept of reincarnation. And um, it does happen. I believe it does happen. And whether he decides he needs to come back or if he's busy doing a job the way he's doing it now and that's what he wants to do, that I'm getting the sense from him right now that what he feels is important is that his energy is still here supporting you all. 6 months from now, a year from now, you might check back in with him and he might be ready to roll and do something different. But for
Mhm.
now, that's what his answer is for you.
Okay, that
Okay.
makes sense. Thank you. Yeah.
I hope that helped, Tao, and we're so sorry for your loss of Henry.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Shay, you're up next with Heather.
There. Okay. I am intuitively been drawn to Susie Schumacher. If I'm saying your last name correctly. Susie, would you like a reading?
Yes.
Or okay, let me make sure your screen is in front of me. Okay, so we're gonna need your animal's name, gender, species, and if they are alive or passed over.
It's Tula, female dog, aka princess royalty.
Don't give away too much there.
Oh, and what was the other question?
So with us or in spirit.
Oh, she's here. Yes, you are.
Okay. Heather and I will take a moment to connect in with Tula and we'll see what messages she has for you. Okay. She's coming in barking for me. um, very cute. They don't have to, they appear the way they appear in real life, but she's having me highlight like her hair being well groomed, but also like kind of over her eyes, like almost covering her eyes is what she's highlighting for me. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm seeing her jump on my calf, like jump and doing some twirls, like jump, just keeps repeating it, like pay attention to me, hello. Really adorable. She just won't stop until like hello. All eyes are on me, and I'm okay with that. Hold on. Yeah, and there's no question. She just knows. She knows. She's just like, it's not, I'm trying to get your attention. It's hello, right here, right here, right here. And she's happy about it. It's not in a mean way. She's just happy and she knows the confidence is lovely. I wish everybody had this kind of confidence in themselves. It's not, so I feel that's my personal opinion. I feel like it's a positive thing, her confidence. So, anything for you, Shay? Or are you still?
Yeah, I mean, I've been waiting for more, but this whole time she's walking down a runway, just like with that same confidence. She's been just walking down, up and down this runway, perfectly comfortable, like being seen, being noticed. So I'm just gonna ask her to give me a little bit more if something comes up for you.
Yeah, and should I go ahead and ask Susie Shay if she's ready to ask a question for Tula? Is that okay? Do you have what's your question, Susie? Well, she's
Is there any is her eye bothering her? Does she have something to tell me about or like a allergy or something?
okay. So when we ask the question, we're gonna keep it very neutral and try
Okay.
to be open-ended. Then we can
Okay.
hone in a little more after. So
Got it.
what do you think of this, Shay? How are your eyes feeling in general? Would that be a good?
Yeah, what she would like to share about her eyes.
Yeah.
Does that work for you, Susie?
Okay. Well, and this doesn't have to be the correct eye, but my left eye is it's stinging a little bit. Not it doesn't feel the worst I've ever felt before, but it just there's a general stinging. I'm trying to find a better word for that, but it's
Okay.
All right, see. So as soon as I get information, I just got to spit it out quickly and then I'll go back in so that I don't forget it.
Okay.
You got anything, Shay?
Way that she's kind of showing me through her eyes is again more like partial vision, and I don't know if that's because like hair, but she's just showing me like a little strip of a sight line versus being able to see more.
Mhm.
I'm not feeling any I'm feeling a lack of pressure from sinuses, which is a good thing.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that there isn't. I mean, they choose what they're going to share with us, right? Um, but, so even though my eye is kind of warm, irritated, um, I'm not feeling that general like pressure from the surrounding areas, if that makes sense.
Okay.
She's so funny. So she, I'm like trying to get her to focus in on this eye. She's just continuing to walk this runway. It's almost like she's like unbothered by it. Like if,
Okay.
yeah, she's just like, the show must go on. I just heard like she's going to walk this runway regardless of any issue, any partial
Okay.
vision. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the body mapping part is I'm finished with, so I'm just seeing if she has anything to actually say about it. She's like this, just yeah, it's like Shay, she's that doesn't mean you don't have something to take her, to take seriously, but her attitude is like she went like
That's
this.
that would be tuna.
That would be.
That would be her. Okay.
It's like
Okay,
I got
that's good.
too much fun stuff to do. I see tongue hanging out, like just stereotypical. I don't know if this is literal or symbolic, but the dog hanging out the window. Just I got things to do. I got fun. Yeah, she's saying there's fun to be had. And she's like, I ain't giving me the hand. I ain't got time for this.
Okay.
Doesn't mean you need to take her advice on that, but I'm just
Okay.
putting that
Got
out
it.
there.
That's all that I've got. Did that answer your question for you, Susie?
Yeah, as long as it's not bugging her. Yeah, I'm apparently bugging her, but that's okay. She's stuck with me.
Yeah, the last thing she said is like, just if we need to go to the doctor, fine, let's just get it done. Let's be done and over with it. I got things to do. I got more fun things in the world. There's like 100 things, right?
She's a busy gal.
Sorry, Shay, I cut you off.
Oh, no. I was just
Thank you.
echoing that she has lots of things to do.
All right. Thank you, Susie. She's great.
Thank you.
Okay, I am going to be working with Pamela, my buddy Pamela. And I actually was drawn to, it's like Pamela Day, right? Pam S. Would you like to, okay, put yourself out there?
Absolutely. Yes, I would love one. I'm pretty sure this was meant to be. The thing showed up at 3:03 and I'm the third person. Sorry. I have a male dog alive. His name is River.
Too funny. Because I always call Pamela, I always accidentally call her River Comb. I don't say it. Sorry, Pamela. I never told you that.
Everyone does.
Okay.
So, you want to start with a question? Should we get the question first?
Oh, maybe. Yeah. What is your question for River.
Perfect. So he, not giving too much away or much at all, he's smaller in stature than I'm used to with dogs, in general. And so I've noticed he's only been with us for a short amount of time, a year, still short in my book. Wondering how I can help him with his confidence.
Okay.
Basic
That's
as
good.
that.
No, don't tell me anymore.
Well, that's it.
Yeah, confidence. Because we'll see what he has to say about that, and then you can tell us. Okay. River. Okay.
The first thing I heard from River was that he said, "I'm as big as I can be." um, so, and that should be enough, I think. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's funny when you said his name. When I worked for the government at the horse racing track, there's a poor horse. Her name was Stuck River. And that's what I heard before you asked about the confidence issue. And that's actually a river in Washington, but it was very appropriate for the poor thing. And I do see him. He seems small, but not tiny. He
No.
seems smaller, right? And he is hiding behind your leg a little bit. Um, but he's looking. He's still looking at me, so it's still there.
See him, it's almost as if he came to me and said, let me show you, and he may do this with you. I can do this too. I see him like running up to you and looking up at you, and him being aware that maybe he's not as big to do something that I can't tell what it is, something that you might do together. He's saying, but I can do it this way. So, and I'm seeing it's more like, not really like tricks, but things about catching up to you or running. I don't know. It's almost like he's running out and doing something and coming back to you. And he said, well, I can do it this way. Does that make sense at all?
Yes, it does. In a few ways it does.
I don't know why, but when he jumped on my lap, it seemed like he was heavy, like a big dog. He just jumped in. I felt like boom on my legs, like dense. And when I asked, I mean, this is very simplified. It seems very simple, but unpacking it, it makes sense. I see this beautiful, beautiful sunny day, you and he running together, like slow motion, right? Like this, one of those beautiful scenes. And it's we hear this a lot, but it does feel like that. It feels like something that needs to be done repetitively often. It's like what came first, the chicken or the egg? In the grand scheme of thing, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you get nervous because the dog's not nervous or confident, or vice versa, and that's okay. Just I see your energy. You're being more light. You're making that point to just stay light emotionally, like Farrah Fawcett, right, with your braids, but not. It's not on the beach. It's just like a walk, but your feet aren't touching. And he's following suit, but it feels like it's going to be a practice. So, and that's fair, right? Just time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
He did show me that actually he's kind of reassuring you that you have helped him already with his confidence, because he feels like you'll say, well, that was good, or he can tell that you are thinking about him and caring about him, that he is a little smaller. And so that alone, that you're thinking and caring about him. And so he's sort of that, it's, he feels like, oh, well, I'll think of things that I can do and show her. So I feel like
Yeah, I definitely encourage him. And afterwards, I tell him how big and how brave he is. And so, yeah, that absolutely makes sense.
Yeah, he specifically was saying things that you say to him. And he likes to hear you talk out loud to him like he's a buddy or a friend or
Interesting.
a person. Like just talk to him and say, this is something when you tell him those things, that then he feels like, yeah, see, I can do it. I can do it. So
That's I find it very interesting that you say he likes to hear the words because I've been playing around with telepathy with him and he catches on so quickly. We were at a vet's office and she looked at me at one point and said, he's looking to you like he's trying to understand what you're saying. And I was like, that totally makes sense with what you're sharing with me too.
And one more thing, I don't know, I'll try not to take up too much time, but he did want to say that your energy is it's pretty good. It's pretty on point, and that he's actually working with you just to really hone it in. So that needing of your confident, your relaxation, your good energy flow is good for him, and he's just making you step up a little higher, even better, even more, right? Because nobody's perfect. We always go, peel the onion layer, and he's here to help you with that. But kind of what Pamela says, he likes where you're at. He's giving you a big compliment about it, actually. He's here
He
to fine tune it a little bit more.
That's very funny to hear that. He was an unexpected adoption, me thinking I could volunteer at a rescue and not get another dog. But he definitely came at a time in my life where we're honing and focusing in on things. So that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I hope that
yeah,
helps.
I also heard I'm in it to win it. I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's any big competition, but he's like, I'm in it like anything. I'll work with her. We'll do it. And, but he does like to hear the words.
Yeah, I love it. He's an awesome dog, unexpected, awesome addition. And what you both shared resonated. Everything resonated. So thank you both so much.
Good.
Oh, I hope that helped. Also, do we need to talk about raffle tickets? Last call to
Yeah.
purchase.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. I was going to do that. So thank you, Heather.
All right. And how much time do they have? What, one more reading or two?
Yeah. So we're going to do one more reading now with Pamela and me. And while during this period of time, you still have time if you want to try to win a reading with one of us. We're giving away 5 30-minute readings, private readings. And if you buy raffle tickets at the end of this event, Chris is going to has all those names set up in a wheel of names. We're going to spin the names and pick 5 winners. So if you haven't done it yet, or you want to get some raffle tickets, you still can while we are doing this next reading. So you still have about 10 more minutes if you want to try to get a raffle. Okay.
Okay.
So Pamela, are you ready to work together?
You get ready, Karen. Okay. So I've been intuitively drawn to Margaret. So if you could turn your sound on, Margaret, and would you like to have a reading?
Yes, I would.
Okay, great. Can you I need to know the name of your animal first.
Soxy.
Is that Soxy?
Well, it was Socks, but then we kept calling her Soxy, so
okay.
it ended up being Socks.
Okay, then that's a
because
female.
she had white feet, she had socks on.
Okay, female. And this is a dog, cat, hippo, cat. Okay, and is she alive or in spirit?
Well, I don't know.
Okay. All right.
So can I just ask Margaret, is she missing? Is that the situation? Why wouldn't you know? Just so we understand where we're going with this.
She disappeared like around, I don't know, at least a year ago.
Okay.
And she had been an indoor cat for a long time. Then she was meowing at the door and my housemate let her out. And
oh, okay.
she vanished.
Okay.
I mean, we're in an area of coyotes, but I've never seen one here, so I don't
Okay.
know.
So is there a question you'd like us to ask her?
What happened to her?
Okay. Okay. Well, first of all, I'm so sorry for that because I can imagine just how much stress that causes not knowing amidst everything else. So, my heart goes out to you for that. And we will try to get Soxy to, I love her name, by the way, to just share a little bit about what you need to know. One, is she alive or in spirit from what she will share with us now? But also, what would be helpful for you to know about that time where she disappeared from the house? Because there's one of the things that animals do, I just want to predecess us reading for you, and so that people understand, is the situations that we come up against with our animals, positive, negative, and everything in between, are part of a larger plan that it's hard for us in the human form to accept and understand that maybe this is part of the destiny between the two of you and for her. And that if for some reason it was her time to disconnect from you in some way. So we want to keep it open for her to help you understand that, as well as to also let her share how she's doing right now, but and if she's alive or in spirit. Does that make sense to you, Margaret?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we're just going to take a minute and ask Soxy to please connect with us, and then Pamela, if you get something, you can jump right in if you want. I'm just going to take a minute.
Okay, so the first thing I asked Soxy was if she could go back to the day that she left and what she was feeling and why she left. So all I had on that was knowing that she got out of the door. The first thing that I got from it was that she had been waiting for a chance to get out this door. It doesn't sound like she felt like she had to, like she was trying to escape you or anything, but just wanting to get outdoors and be on her own. I think what she's showing me that she would look out windows and she wanted to go out there and hunt. Like I can see her on a windowsill, her tail. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, totally.
So this was almost like a planned escape, just a joyride. She wanted to get out there and go and hunt and go, and so that's as far as she's shown me right now. So I'm going to ask her, can you show me where you went? Something about what you did after you left the house.
Yeah.
So.
And while you're doing that, Pamela, I actually got the same thing, and it was really interesting. The way she showed it to me was this really intense thinking going on in her head around the period of her getting out of the house, and this real intense focus in my head to wanting something, like pulling me from my instincts and my senses to go outside. And I have this all this energy and focus all bottled up in my head, and I feel like I'm being pulled to go out into the air. I actually feel I'm also seeing like I can smell something in the air that's changed. So I don't know if there was a season change or if it was spring, but it feels like there's a change in the air that made her really be pulled to want to go outside. Do you remember like that time period of year?
It was very cold. It was a cold snap.
Because I'm feeling like really wanting to be pulled to the outside with what I'm smelling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she did show me while looking out the window, she also would see there was some animal out there that she would see. So she would imagine chasing and getting this animal. I have to see where you are now. So that might have been a smell or some behavior that she'd noticed going on. And that was that. It was like her opportunity. The whatever. What does it make sense that she may have seen a particular? It looks like a
Yeah,
small.
we have squirrels sometimes.
It seems small. Yeah, small furry, and she had watched enough so she knew where it would go, where it would hide. Like it looks like it sometimes was up, but often it would come down under some shrubs and go in there. And she knew that, so that was her plan. If I get out, I'm going to go get him. And she also took it personally the way he behaved outside, as if he was taunting her. So that was like the way she received, seeing it. And I'm gonna get out there when I have a chance, chase you. So I mean, that I feel is a little more of her personality coming out. Just this was the plan. So
she's describing herself as an independent woman. Does that make sense to you, Margaret? Because she has this attitude with me, like I'm an independent woman and I decide what I'm going to do. Like, is that kind of a tone? That like you're allowed? Does that make sense to you about her?
Yeah, I didn't give her too much chance to be independent
till she bolted. But she herself, her own personality, how she sees herself was like, I'm an independent woman and I'm going to do what I want to do. And that was like her opportunity to go and do that. So the other thing she's showing me about this is, although you didn't want her to go out and do those kinds of things, there is something about her personality and that independent woman thing that she strutted sometimes in front of you to make you pay attention to being an independent woman and deciding for myself. I don't know what this means to you, but there is something in that little bit of oomph. When I walk by, I see her going, an independent woman. And she's just kind of strutting past me and saying, that was part of her kind of personality and tone that she was also delivering for you to pay attention to.
I am finding that at a certain point when I'm saying, and then where did you go? What have you been doing in the meantime while you're there? And it seems like at first it was a lot, and she just sort of followed her wherever it took her. If she saw something, she chased it. If she saw a tree, she might try to go up that. But then there's a certain point where she was very scared, or for some reason, it's like she's like went somewhere else, or went and met another person at a house. It's like in the backside of a house. So I don't know if it was someone who feeds animals outside of their house, but she was drawn to go there to another house via the backyard. Does that make sense that she could have done that?
She had a microchip, so if anybody ever tried to, they would have seen the chip.
They would know that she has the chip.
Well, I mean, if they scanned her, if she got into a shelter or maybe a vet or something,
Did you put any, flyers or things in your neighborhood?
No.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm getting the same as you, Pamela. I gotta add to what you're saying, because I feel like I'm looking across a road at some point, but it doesn't look like a highway road. It looks more like a suburb road or a back road. And I am feeling like I'm seeing a fence in the back of like more of a yard that looks not suburban, more like it has more land. And like I feel like I went on a journey, like the way she's bringing me along as if I'm her. I feel like I've gone on a journey and I've ended up at this place where I can hang out. And I feel like I've decided to hang out there.
I also feel like at a certain point she just was going for the joy of it, hunting, running. And then at a certain point she didn't know where she was. So it either she went through thick part, like, I don't know, a woods or shrubs or kind of, a very thick area. So she kind of got disoriented and then ended up at that other place. but it wasn't, it's like I said before, that it seemed like someone's back door or backyard. Like I almost can see like those things that you hang hoses on, a round thing
Yeah.
by the door. But then she just really didn't, either she, or maybe a little of both. She liked the person a little bit that was there, but she didn't seem to know how to get back at that point.
Yeah. I mean, do you live in a very busy place, or how does this make sense, what we're describing?
Yeah.
No, it's suburban, but more towards rural, right where I am.
Okay.
So there are there trees and shrubs and like
Yes.
wooded areas? Because that's what I keep seeing, that
Me too.
it got thicker and thicker, and then she kind of didn't know where she was.
Because I ask her, are you right now? Let's move. I say, let's move the timeline to today. And are you still in your body, is what I'm asking her, because that's kind of like what she brought us back in time to. That's what happened during that. I'm going to say like that week. It feels like it was a week of her doing this and then ending up where she ended up. And so when I ask her right now, what do you feel like? Are you still in your body? I still get a very heavy feeling like I have a body, as opposed to sometimes when an animal is out of their body, for me, I start to feel kind of floaty and like I have no edges. And I still feel heavy. I still feel like I have some weight in my body. So I'm getting the sense that she potentially is still alive and just doing her own thing, and is living her life her way, is what I'm actually hearing her say.
Yeah, I see that this other, similar to what Karen just said, but this other, she has found this other person who lets her go in and out all she wants. So that's part of it. Either they have a cat door, or just she hardly ever goes in. She's outside and gets fed sometimes, but she feels like she has a safe place if she needed, or somewhat of a shelter if it was raining or something, but she can just run and be, wild kitty.
And I actually, when I ask her, sometimes I'll do a wheel of numbers, and I'll do this for ages as well. Like, how old do you feel? How far away do you feel? Like, how far away are you from home? And I am actually getting like 2 to 3 miles. So it may not be like right in your backyard, which is why, from Pamela's perspective of feeling like she may not know her way home, or is just kind of lost that trail. When I ask her to spin like, show me on the wheel how many miles, I'm seeing like potentially 2 to 3 miles away. So I hope that helps you a little bit. This is what she's sharing with us.
Yeah.
I hope
that helps a little bit.
Yeah. One last thing she said, because I just asked her a little bit about it, she goes, it wasn't you. It wasn't your house or anything there. It just was her need to do this. She didn't, she appreciated you and loved being there, but she also all the time really wanted to get outside.
Yeah. And kind of do her independent woman thing. So I'm sorry, Margaret. I hope that helps. I don't know if you check around a few miles away, if you might actually get somebody might know of her, but she doesn't feel unsafe and she doesn't feel unhappy.
That's good.
Okay. So I hope that helps.
Yes. Thank you very much, both of you.
Okay. All right. So the next step will be me and Heather. Okay. So, oh yes, thank you, Shay. So we are closing the raffle now. So in case you were going to do a raffle, we're closing it now. And we're going to go on to our next reading. And Molly, would you like, do I say, is it Schminky?
Schmink, yeah.
Schmink. Molly, would you like a reading?
Of course I would.
Yay. That's fabulous. Okay.
So this is actually a cat from Jelly's place. The name, it was This THISS, which was short for thistle.
Oh,
And
okay.
he was a boy and he is in spirit.
Male, past. Okay. And so Molly, what question would you have for this?
I think I would just like to know why he had to go so soon, or what the lesson is there.
Okay. Okay. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Okay, this. So just give us a second to invite him in and connect with him. So when I connect with this, I definitely have a very light, fluttery energy coming into me. He feels actually in spirit, he feels very ethereal. Almost, I'm trying to think of how to describe this. Sometimes when an animal is kind of a very light, higher vibration, they almost feel like ethereal or fairy-like to me. And like he had this very light, fluidy energy, even when he was in his body. It didn't, to me, it did, the way he makes me feel about his energy and his bodies, they weren't necessarily very entwined. They weren't solidly entwined, even when he was alive and actually had a body. Does that make sense to you?
I can make sense of that, I think, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
For some reason, I heard a very male voice, and he said, "Whoa, it's crowded in here tonight." That's a new one. I've never heard that one before. He meant that it feels like in a good way, but um, I I assume he's young or was young, but it sounded very like an older man, like middle-aged man, and it felt like um well, I'll just say I just got a knowing that my time wasn't cut short. It was exactly what it was meant to be, needed to be. Um, I lost some. Hold on, because he said, "Oh, I got everything I needed. I had everything I needed. Exactly what I came here to do, what I needed. I accomplished that." He's not telling me what that is. It's so it makes sense that I know it sounds opposite, like very like not in his body, but at the same time, I'm hearing a very mature, like this is exactly perfect. It feels like it was the perfect play. I don't know how to say that. Love, I was very loved. And you don't think of that as in a shelter. You're always like, I know you people in the shelter, you feel very stretched thin, correct? Like you don't give them enough attention. It doesn't, he's definitely saying that's not the case. I felt very yeah, I felt like I got everything. He just keeps saying that I got everything I needed. I accomplished my goals. So I don't know. I'm sure he's gonna speak about that in a minute, but it was very it seemed like he really wants you guys to know that. It's a big deal to him for you guys to know that.
Um, and he's also making me feel like it was hard for him to stay tethered to his body. He keeps bringing me back to this. And I actually feel like I really almost can't take a deep breath at sometimes. And like there's too much constriction in here, not letting the body flow the way it needs to keep the spirit attached. It's very interesting the way he's describing this. He also says that he held on as long as he could. I don't know what that would mean to you, but he says, I held on as long as I could. But he's like, the balloon was too light, meaning his spirit. Like his spirit was like just wanted to float. And the constriction that he's showing me just didn't allow the the tethering to stay together. Potentially like a congenital thing, or just something about his body just not agreeing with like functioning properly. Does this make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he says, and so I decided to let go. I get the sense from him, he made a decision that like, I gotta float. I gotta be me. I gotta be light. I gotta be free. Like I just keep hearing these things from his spirit. And that it was his decision. Does that,
Yeah.
does that resonate?
Yeah, that resonates for sure.
Yeah.
He feels so big, so strong. Like
like
spirit wise, it's he's like boom. Spiritually, he feels like just strong, so strong. And it's like I see, okay, you know, sometimes when you're going to take a swim, sometimes you want to go for the full swim. You just want to do everything. You're gonna party there as long as you can. And he's saying this time it was just, I just wanted my feet in the water. I just wanted to like dip my toe in the water. Um, so I, um, yeah, it makes sense what Karen's saying to me because, or to you because, so big. But I actually want to smile. I keep trying to, because I know you're sad, but he's making me smile. I'm so happy. I just feel so happy, and loved.
yeah.
Sometimes that's the mission, and he's reminding me that sometimes it's hard. It's hard when life ends quickly and young, but if you think about it, a person who's like a human who's only lived 1 minute in this world usually has such a big impact on all those around them. I'm not saying one life is more important than the other, but in a different kind of aspect. If you think about that one person who's lived only 1 minute, that life was so impactful, so important. And that's where he's taking me with this.
Mm-hmm.
The emotional, the spiritual lesson kind of side. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a good time for me to say more about him, but he was a 4-month-old kitten who died a couple days ago. We think he had FIP. So
okay.
He crashed hard and fast, and a bunch of us tried so many things to try to save him in the last week. I brought him home for a couple days and fluids, and we just couldn't do anything in time. And so he just let go in one day.
Yeah.
But he was, one of many, many, many kittens in the shelter. So it is nice to know that he felt loved and that he knew that we were trying to do everything. And I know it was his choice to leave when he left, but I just wasn't sure if there was a bigger lesson in it for us. But I think we're all still,
Yeah. So I'm asking, what is the bigger lesson in this? What is the message that you want to give to everyone that would help their hearts and souls kind of understand why you were in his presence for this? And he's okay. I'm just getting this straight from him. I had the chance to feel a body, feel what it feels like to have joy, feels like what it feels like to have love, and also feels what it feels like to decide to set myself free. And in this short amount of time, he had a very quick in and out experience of all of that. He goes, and I have a lot to share back here. He's like, I have a lot to tell everyone back here about this experience. I absolutely feel like he was more of like an angel in a little cat body, coming to have a quick experience and bring back all the love and all the energy and how he touched everyone's heart, so he could bring it back and say, this is what it's like over there. And to go back to the other beings and share it with them, like, get it and bring it back, get it. And so for him, it was like a little bit of a reconnaissance mission so he could bring info back. And with that, he is saying, I'll be back.
Okay.
I'll be back. But this was a reconnaissance mission, actually, of spirit, is what I'm getting from him. It's very interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And he's saying he will be back. And he looks like he will be orange.
Okay.
Why? He's showing me orange. So you may find in the next few months a little orange, somebody showing up. You'll know because he's like, I'll be back.
Okay. We'll keep our eye out. Lord knows we have orange kittens also, but
Yeah.
we'll wait for the next
He's
round.
not here yet. He's not here now. He's in spirit.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. And we have time for one more. I know it's a late night for people, so we have dwindled down, and that's okay. Everybody got what they needed. So if we want, we can do one more, and it's up to Pamela and Shay to do the last reading, and then we're going to spin the names for those who are left and let everybody know what they won.
I'm good. How about you? Okay, Shay? Can't hear you. Yeah. No.
You hear me now? It's your pick.
Okay. So, how about Marina? Would you like a reading?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, great. So can you tell us a little about your animal? What name and species and gender?
Dog, male, here. Name is Tiamo.
Tiana?
Tiamo, like I love you in Italian.
Oh, you still have to spell it for me though.
Oh, sorry. Tiamo.
Oh, just like it sounds. Okay. Tiano is a dog, male, and he's alive. Okay, and is there a question you'd like us to ask him?
What's he trying to teach me, especially when we're interacting with other people or other animals?
Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, so just to reiterate, what lesson is he teaching you when interacting with other, so did you say humans or animals or both?
Both. Like, and generally what's he trying to teach me? Yeah.
The first thing I got from Tiamo is he says, first he said he was a good teacher. He informed me that he believes that he's a very good teacher. He says that all the things he's showing me at least what type of thing, a time when he might find it a teaching moment with you has to do with almost like basic training, things like like going on walks, like what he's supposed to do there. And he's just trying to learn from you what's expected of him. He keeps going back to a walk. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
For
And
me,
he has a way of looking at you. I think he just turns his head up when he wants to know if it's going okay or not, like that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Sorry, Shay.
no worries. So for me, he came in, initially I was like, I thought he was all like party ready because he came in with like this big hat on, but then he hid in the hat and he's kind of like inching into the party, like under this hat. And he's giving me like what I feel with the social anxiety. So he's highlighting this like socially anxious energy, but like still very much wanting to be a part of this party. Is that making sense to you?
Yeah, I very, very much.
Again, I get that there are different things that you're working on with him, basic kind of things you expect from him, but it's also he's indicating that there may be someone else that tells him things to do that I'm getting that he sometimes gets mixed messages. Like it might be in one situation it's okay for him to bark, say, in another it isn't. And he gets a little confused with that. Does that make sense?
Yes, very much. Do I say why or just leave it?
Uh, well, if it's, is it, yeah, why don't you say why, actually?
Um, I my mother's was sick and I recently lost her, and I I couldn't take care of him very much, so he's been at a dog sitter often.
Oh, okay, so the dog's, yeah, because there's something about mixed messages where he does something sometimes with you and you tell him how you want him to do it and he can do it, and then somebody else tells him something else. So it's, I almost see him looking up and saying, which one, which thing do you want me to do when you say that?
Okay.
So that would make sense. Okay.
Yeah, he's highlighting more of the same for me. This like socially anxious when I try to coax him out of this hat that he's hiding under. Um, he's showing me like a hand is going over to pet him, but he's very particular, he told me, about which hand or who that he wants to touch him. And he's like immediately looking for the right person at this party to go to. Doesn't completely feel safe. He's showing me that he's like shaking a little bit. Kind of, yeah, like when you like look up suddenly and you don't know who's around and then you run to hide. Is that making sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm asking the question because I find I know he's very loved. I just find him skittish and overly protective of me when maybe because he doesn't see me a lot. But I I I don't know how to stay connected. I'm trying to ask the question to know how to stay connected when we go about our day because he is skittish and I'm trying to tell him it's okay.
Yeah, and this came up in the other reading earlier. He does like you to talk to him as well. And part of the either commands he gets or something, and I don't see like it's a big formal training thing, but just basic skills sometimes. So when he hears though, someone at some point, someone is a little more harsh with him, I think, more bad dog kind of stuff, or someone did that in his past. So he's always been, he wants to be a good dog. There's a lot of, I want to be a good dog, a good dog. And so it's very, I just get over it. He's trying to, if you're teaching you when he needs to get a clear command. And it would go with hand motions too. Like sometimes I wave my hands around a lot. You might move your hands and he doesn't know what that means. Whereas with someone else, it might mean, what's the thing where some people say down and other people say sit, or, so he has to know which thing. And that's when he gets jumpy. He just wants to do the right thing. So I would also, it feels like if you would say, yeah, you did a good job, then he feels reassured and it helps to calm him. Or if it isn't okay, maybe telling him what you do want. It's very clearly. He would like hand motions in particular in talking. He likes something to do with your hands.
He keeps giving me the word trust. So like he really trusts you. And there's a lesson here around wanting you to trust others more as well. The way that he's showing me that is like you on a couch, like it looks like a small dinner party that's being hosted or something where there are just like a few trusted people that you can feel safe with, and like demonstrating that for him, that like you can trust people, and that maybe that will expand, but starting with this sort of smaller, you just said smaller wolf pack, can provide that comfort and go at like a slower pace, but trust is a really big thing for him. Is that making sense?
Um, it is. The hand motions are helpful, but that between me and where else he goes. But I am trying to encourage him in the trust, but he doesn't. I hang out with a lot of little kids a lot, and he's not socially.
Those are
He's nippy, and then
yeah.
I have a choice being with the kids or leaving him at home. So, um, it's hard.
Gotcha.
But your pointers are good. I'm glad he trusts me.
Well, with the kids, it's always nice if we teach them to approach slowly and have like the most gentlest approach for him, for his sake. Yeah.
I find he's very sensitive to noise, and he gets surprised very easily. So I feel it's funny that you said the word trust, because I don't find he trusts people. Like, I find he's very nippy if I say hi to somebody or my cousin or what, and but I don't know if it's a social thing how he nips, but I find he's so overprotective of me that then I can't really talk to the people because he's so jumpy with them that we have to disband earlier. So it's kind of interesting that you're because I'm trying to lead him to that it's okay.
Yeah.
I do feel like some of maybe the reasons he had anxiety or gets jumpy were the changes. You mentioned there were changes. He was living somewhere else, and was it your grandmother or something? There was somebody.
My mother was sick and she passed, and my grandmother also passed in the same year. He loved both, and
something about that, losing them, the changes that came with that and losing them, and then going and being with you and being, sometimes he can go with you and sometimes like with the children. And I think that goes to the hearing and being so jumpy. He just sort of, those were big adjustments for him in his life. And I think the barking, if he barks or nips or whatever, that almost feels like he's just frustrated and
overstimulated.
Yeah. It feels like he can't control the things that happen like that, losing people and not, it's like like you said, it's just there. But if there's a technique to help him with that, I think maybe find out about that from someone. I think what he's teaching you, bottom line, is that he needs your help and he needs trust, and he needs to get back in a routine where he feels safe and understands what's expected of him.
Yeah, and he wants me to echo at the end here that, like, he wants to be at the party still. Like, even though he's presenting as skittish and wants to hide and overstimulated, like, he wishes he could still, like, he wants to be at the party. He doesn't want to be away. So there's a bit of hope that he's highlighting for me in this. So don't give up on it.
Mm-hmm. I find what you're saying is interesting because he came into my life very young, and it was very sudden that my mother got sick and I started losing people. So it's interesting what you're saying, because it makes me wonder what his job. Clearly, he came here for a job. He must have known what he was going to meet with me. So I just find it interesting what you're saying.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
You're in it together,
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Very helpful. Thank you. You
All
walked,
right.
by the way, when you were talking.
Oh.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Well, thank you, everyone. That was great. We are at the end of the readings part of the event. And so, Chris, do you want to really quickly spin through the name of wills and let's see who has won the private readings as we're wrapping up the evening?
Actually, I already did.
Oh, okay, fabulous.
I have 5 names.
Okay.
And some people who are not here today, so I will definitely, you can expect an email in the next couple of days.
Okay.
So I'll let everybody know.
Okay. Is anybody here who won?
Yes, I'm gonna tell you.
Okay.
I have Bonnie Carlston won. Robert Purcell, Carla Moriarty, Susie, you want a reading. So you, Susie Schumacher, you get a 30-minute private reading, and Michelle
Nice.
Flores.
Oh, that's great.
Yay, thank you.
All right.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations, everybody who won. So we just want to wrap up this evening saying thank you, everyone. We know for some of you it was a very late night. For some of you, it's your Pacific Coast time, so this is a good time for you. And we're all over the place, so it's all over for us as well. We will be getting you your emails if you want, and also just so we have it on the recording for those who might want to watch back. If anyone decides they want to book a longer reading with us who hasn't won a reading, and you book that reading with one of us before November 15th, we will be donating back 15% of our fee to Jelly's Place as well. So we're going to continue to give to Jelly's Place individually as well through November 15th. So that's just something to think about if you were thinking that you might want to book a longer reading with one of us. And Chris will email everyone about who has won, and she will announce. Chris will also send this out in a newsletter, just reminding people, hey, if you couldn't make it tonight, or if you did and you want to book a private reading and you didn't win, we will be giving back some donation money to Jelly's Place as a thank you. So I think that about wraps it up for the evening, right, Chris?
Yes, I'm so grateful for everybody that came, and I'm so grateful to you guys from the Animal Communication Collection. This is really, really amazing, very, very touching to hear all these animals communicating with their people. And
Yeah.
thank you enough for supporting Jelly's Place. I really
Great.
appreciate it.
Oh, we love you, Chris. We'll do it again. And thank you, everybody, for coming. And we will see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.